This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, back from a funeral weekend away to give a daily wrestling news update. The AEW Rampage rating is out for Friday's event that featured a CM Punk match. It had 640,000 viewers and a 0.32 rating. SmackDown the same night had 2,135,000 viewers and a 0.55 rating. I did not see the highlights of, or I saw, did not see the highlights of Rampage. I just saw the finish of CM Punk's match. I glanced through the highlights of SmackDown. Didn't enjoy them. Maybe I should do reviews of the highlights. Some people review the full shows. Let's see if I could make it through a full highlight video of Raw or SmackDown and see if I could review it sometime. That might be interesting. Ronda Rousey and Travis Browne have announced their daughter has been born. Former UPW and WWE star Ryan Kenji Sakota has passed away. Sorry to hear that. I can't say I recall him. Might be something good for Rick Bassman to talk about on his podcast, which this Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll have JBL as a guest, and Boss Rutan will also be on that podcast. Good friends with Mauro Ranello. So that one has the potential to be interesting. Butterbean's also on that podcast. Sorry to hear for CWE Canada, a wrestling company here in Canada. Apparently they've been having to cancel a lot of shows and postpone them due to public health orders changing. It's so difficult to promote events here in Canada these days because of the continually changing public health orders. That's why I've been trying to work with American companies myself, since even in the one, I actually ended up doing 2 events in one day due to public health orders changing for the Great North Wrestling event I presented in Kingston. But I've been working with American companies. Some of those relationships have worked out better than others. Other companies have not been reliable, but World Class Pro Wrestling is one of the reliable ones. They're at the Cotillion this Sunday, October 3rd, featuring Matt Hardy and Fuego del Sol. Jacob Fatu will also be there. Which reminds me, speaking of Jacob Fatu, I did a poll regarding what is your favorite U.S. wrestling companies out of the current top 5. By far, the most popular was AEW, 62%. WWE was second, 25%. MLW was tied with ROH at 2%, and NWA was 8%. And that had 4.7 thousand votes in just 10 hours. And of course, Jacob Fatu is the MLW champion, which is why I brought that up. And for the people wondering why I didn't include Impact in this, is because they are owned by Anthem Sports and Entertainment, which is actually a Canadian company, even though they do all their tapings in Nashville. But that's the main reason, because that was about U.S. companies. And the other one is Impact has had, currently, I think Christian is their champion. He's under AEW contract, and before that it was Kenny Omega. So they're kind of a subsidiary, if I'm even pronouncing that right, of AEW. And the other poll I did I did an interview with Wrath on the weekend about the Canyon Dark Side of the Ring, which he wasn't included in. And a lot of people messaged me after saying that they felt that because James Vandenberg, I guess, spent like over a month at times at Canyon's house and seemed to have a very close relationship with him, oftentimes coming up with excuses for other people as to why he would not be gay, and for people that Canyon didn't want to come out to. And I don't know, they seem to have a very close relationship. And the King of Connecticut did a review of that Dark Side of the Ring on this channel and mentioned the Dark Side of the Ring. Didn't mention that Canyon did a book where he said being gay was a complete work. And I noticed Vandenberg commented on that video pretty much almost right after it was posted and said that everything in that book was a lie. So I'm not saying anything, but the reason I put it up as a poll was because so many fans asked me about that relationship. And according to the fan vote that had almost 2.5 thousand votes, 55% feel it was more than just a friendship between those two. So I only met Canyon once at the Louisville airport. He was nice to me. I was in my early 20s at that time. I saw James Vandenberg at the WWE tryout that I was actually signed from in May of 2009. I remember he just showed up the day of the tryout, and it was like a week-long tryout. And I remember Steve Kern was running Florida Championship Wrestling, and he was trying to be a part of the tryout. And I remember Steve Kern explaining to him that it was a situation where people had to apply for it. But that's the only time I met Vandenberg in person. Or actually, I didn't even meet him there. I just remember seeing him in person. I didn't actually have any communication with him that day because I was obviously a wrestling fan. So I remember I had seen him from WCW, and I was thinking, oh, cool, James Vandenberg is going to be participating in this camp. But ultimately, for whatever, maybe because he didn't apply or whatever reason, they didn't use him in that camp. And at one point, Terry Taylor, sometime around 2007, when Terry Taylor was head of TNA Talent Relations, he was saying he was thinking about pitching to TNA to have Vandenberg manage me and have me feud with Abyss. But that never ended up happening. I think that would have actually been good.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates.